Hi folks, this is Karim Rao from IT Visualizer channel. We will continue our lab, the Red Arrow lab. This is the video number 63. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. Just a moment guys. So we have discussed in the previous video a type of programs called password manager, and especially a free software or an open source software called Keepass. Keepass is a very famous tool that is used to save passwords and usernames and encrypt them with a very strong encryption, and it is very easy to use, and we have discussed in the previous video how we can use it, and there is a lot of good options to secure your passwords, how it is very safe to use. It's not polished, okay, it's not so friendly. Maybe the interface is a little bit need to be more friendly or to be more catchy, okay, and we will see that today in another flavor of this program called Keepass XC. We will see it is more polished and more easy to use, okay. And we have said Keepass is an open source, and Keepass XC is also an open source. Keepass is an open source, which means that the programming code of this program it is available for you as an IT to investigate, to see if there is anything suspicious, or if there is any backdoor, or there is any malicious programming code embedded within the program, okay. So it is very useful to use open source programs, and actually it is recommended by the Department of Defense. I have seen in a couple of websites that it is used by the Department of Defense of the United States. Anyway, I don't know if this is true or not, but anyway, we will today discuss another flavor of this program, which is Keepass XC. Keepass XC, it is based on Keepass, but it is more polished. Maybe it doesn't contain the same features as Keepass, but it is actually more friendly and more catchy and more polished. So let's today begin discussing how we can install this program and see its different features. You need to go to the website of keepassxc.org and then tell him to download for Windows, and then here you will see that there is a portable version the same as Keepass and an installer, and this is very good. The installer, it's not an exe file, it's .msi file, and it is very good. This extension is very good to deploy it in your network. So if you need to deploy a lot, or you need to deploy this program to a lot of PCs at once, you need to use a file that is .msi extension. So he provides you this file, so you can deploy it using a group policy or using third-party programs like PDQ, which is the paid one, or other type of software. Anyway, so we'll download MSI installer and then begin seeing how we can deploy this. So now we need to install it and see its different features, and actually there is a lot of similarities between Keepass and Keepass XC. They have some features in common because the Keepass XC is based on Keepass. So we'll accept the license agreement, and then next, okay, and then we'll create a shortcut, okay, and auto start Keepass KC at login. This if you need it to start automatically with every user logging into the machine. Anyway, so we'll install it, and it is installed by an admin account, okay, and it will be managed by a local administrator account. Standard users cannot uninstall this program. Anyway, so we'll install the program and see its different features. Now it's begin installation, copying files, and then the first thing we need to do, the same as Keepass, is to create a database, okay. So this is the first thing to do, and I have prepared a password to open this database, which I used before in Keepass. So this password will be my master password to open the database and to encrypt it. So let's see here. First, you need to check for updates automatically, so we need to apply this feature or apply this option, and then we'll create a new database. Here we can see that the interface is a little bit more polished, it's a little more catchy, not like Keepass. Here we can see it's more user friendly. Here we can see that we can import from Keepass import from one password. This is another type of passwords or password manager, and import from CSV. So you can import from a file your passwords from a file, import it directly to the program. For example, if you have your password saved to browser or other programs that is not compatible with Keepass, so you can export the file as CSV and import it here as CSV. Most of us save the passwords on their browser, which is not correct or it's not right. So we'll export your password as CSV from the browser and then import it here from this option. Okay, and by the way, any database used by Keepass program, or one of its flavors, or one of its diversions, or one of its divisions, okay, something like Keepass XC. So the database in Keepass XC will work on Keepass, okay, and any other Keepass flavor. Okay, so we will create a database, and then we will be asked for a database name and then a description. So we'll make it Karim password. It's a little bit more polished here. We can see it's more polished and more catchy. Here we can see that decryption time. So he is saying that higher values offer more protection, but opening database will take longer. So decryption time here, it's more understandable. In Keepass, he said that this is called irritations. Okay, here he's saying that decryption time is 1 second. That means that the processor can decrypt and encrypt easily. Okay, and here this is to test your processor capability to decrypt and encrypt fast or slow. So here it is 1 millisecond. This is good. Okay, and the more you increase the decryption time, the more the database will take longer to open, because every time he opens the database he need to decrypt it, and when you close it he need to encrypt it. Okay, so this will take some time, and this will take a lot of processing if you increase the decryption time. Anyway, we will leave the decryption time as it is, and then the database format, it is KDBBX4. This is used by Keepass programs. It will be you can import it, or you can use this database on any Keepass program or any of its flavors. Okay, then we can go to advanced setting, okay, and see our other options. Okay, if you go to advanced setting, here we can see that this is the encryption of the database, something called key diversion function, and then transformation rounds. Anyway, I don't know what is transformation rounds. Memory usage, so he will take a part of the memory to use it for encryption, and parallelism, 2 threads. I don't know, I think this is related to the processor and for the memory, and something related to maybe the encryption options. So we don't need to play with any one of these. Actually, there is an encryption algorithm which is used commonly. It is AES. This is used and it is very strong. And there is a new type of encryption called Shasha, which is used by Google, and it's said to be more faster and more secure. But anyway, AES, it is the more commonly used encryption in most of the environments. Okay, anyway, so we leave everything as it is, and then we need to continue or go back. Okay, we can tell him continue and then continue, or simple and then continue, and then okay, we can tell him continue. Sorry, so we leave everything as it is and tell him continue. So you can see there is Shasha 20. This is used by Google, and then we are prompted to create a master password, the one that I have used, or the one that I have used before in Keepass. But here there is a good or a useful option. Here he gives you your password generator. He gives you an icon for password generator. This was not in Keepass. In Keepass, when you're creating a master password, he didn't give you an option to open a password generator program and create a password. Here in Keepass XC, he gives you this option, so it's more good. Okay, here he will give me a password and the options to have what is the characters that will be used in this password. Here we can have capital letters, small letters, numeric figures, special characters. So for all of these we will use it in a password, and here it is the length of the password, which is 20 characters. It should include all of these, and there is a quality password quality test, which is excellent. Here we can see that this is more polished and more easy. Okay, in Keepass I didn't have this option when I was creating my password. He didn't allow me to open a password generator program. I should create the master password, and then after opening the program I can open the password generator, but not before creating the master password. Anyway, so we will copy this password if we need, or we can use the old password used in Keepass. Anyway, so I'll use the old password, okay, the same, and then there is additional protection, okay, the same. We will create a password and we will create a key. So we have two-factor authentication. We are authenticated to the database using a password and a key or encryption key. Okay, so he will tell him additional protection. We need to tell him additional protection, and we can add a key, and we can use the Windows account, but we will not do this. So we will generate a key the same as we have done with the Keepass. So we will create a folder and we name it Keepass key, Keepass key. Okay, and then we will insert the key in it. This key can be available with us on a flash, or we can put it to a cloud storage, or it should be available with us anywhere. Okay, so it will be used in conjunction with our password. So done, and then we have prompted to put the location to where we put our database. So we will create a folder and put our database in it, and take care we put our password and our key in a partition other than the partition of the system. So Windows will install itself in partition C. We need to put the key and the database of Keepass on the D partition, another partition, and it's preferable to put both on a folder that can be backed up by the administrator. It can be put on a shared network folder on your network, and this shared folder network can be backed up by your administrator, or you can put it locally on your hard disk and then take a copy of them and put it in your flash. Okay, and then we can use the portable program of Keepass and open this key and this database on any machine in the world. Anyway, so we will do this. We will tell him to put it on the D partition, and then we should put the database in it. Okay, and then here we can see the interface. This is very easy. Now we can open the password generator. Here we will see a lot of options. You can make it 20, 30. You can make it as a password, or you can make it as a phrase. Okay, so here we can see there is a lot of things, and we can control the password criteria. Here we can tell him 30, okay, for example, and we can tell him extended ASCII. Okay, anyway, so we can see here that the more I click on the buttons, the more the password criteria is changed. So this is easy to do, and we can have a phrase, a long phrase, and there is spaces between it. So, and we have advanced. Here we can exclude, for example, here alike characters. So there is some characters, numeric and alphabetic, something like O appears to be like 0 and 1 appears like I, so this will be excluded, alike characters. And you can tell him also not to include the same character or the same number again. So your password should not include two same characters. So if your password is 1, you cannot pick a password contain of 11, it's only 1. And you cannot tell him to have a password AA, it's only A. Okay, anyway, so this is how we can open the password generator. As we see, the program is very polished, it's very easy to use, and we will see when we continue working, we will see that it's very easy to use. Here we see something. I need to go further again. Here we can see that when we copy the password, okay, we copy the password and we need to put it or to use it to create, or for example take this password and make it my Gmail account. When I tell him to copy the password, here we have a notification saying clearing the clipboard in 5 seconds. So the password is copied to a clipboard and it will be contained within the clipboard for a certain amount of time. It's here for 10 seconds. Why this option? For example, if the 10 seconds finished, you will not be able to paste the password, okay, because it is already cleared from the clipboard. And this is a very good option to leave the copied text or copied password in the clipboard for a certain amount of time, because if there is a hacker or there is other softwares that will monitor your clipboard and try to see what is in it, especially if it is key loggers or key stroke programs, you will not be able to copy the password, okay, so it will be left there for a certain amount of time. This is very good, and the less the password is left in the clipboard, the more it is more secure, okay. So we will leave it for 10 seconds. This is the default, and we will try to paste it, okay, and see. So here we see 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Now I have copied the password. If I try to paste it, he will not let me do this because it was cleared from the clipboard. Anyway, this is an entry I will do to create my email or Gmail password. So this is my username and my password. I need to, after making this entry, update my Gmail password through the browser, okay. So here I will create a password, 30 characters, here it is, and then I will apply this password, okay. So this is it, we will apply it, okay, and then okay, there is the URL. Here is the website that the program should visit to apply or to type or auto-type this password automatically, mail.gmail.com. Sometimes this URL should be checked carefully because it's not correct, okay, and it will expire in a certain amount of time. It will expire here as an entry, but not will be expire on your real Gmail account. You should because there is no password for email to be expired, okay. Here we can see there is a lot of options, icons or advanced features. You can use different icons for different entries. And then we have the autotype. Here we can see that here it will enable autotype, and we have discovered this option before in Keepass. It will autotype your password using a certain type sequence, okay. For example, when you go to your Facebook, when you are typing your username, you type your username, then press tab in the keyboard, and then type the password, and then press enter. This is a type sequence or typing sequence. This is known by the program, and he will use it. And if there is any different or it is different autotype or there is different typing sequence, you can inform the program about it. So for example, in Google, when you put your username, you should press after that enter, and then wait for 100 seconds or milliseconds, and then type the password and then enter. So it's not like the Facebook typing your username and then tab and then password and then enter. This is different. There is a different typing sequence. Anyway, the default or the most commonly used type sequence, it's the username, then press tab, and then password, and then press enter, okay. Anyway, so you can inform him about this typing sequence. We will leave everything for the default, okay. And here we can see this is more polished. All of this we have discovered in Keepass, but this is more polished. Here we can see that there is properties when it was created, this entry, modified, accessed. So this is like the history. So this is the history, autotype options, icon, some advanced features, and the entry itself. So it is very easy to use, okay. It is very simple to use. And then here we can see that it is very simple, okay. And we can see here that you can get from these options the expired password. You can click here to get the expired password, the weak passwords, and all of the passwords. Anyway, so now let's discover the different things. Here we can lock the database, we can make a new entry, can delete an entry, copy a username. Here we can see copy a username or copy a password to the clipboard, and here copy URL or a website to the clipboard. And then this is the autotype features or autotype sequences. You can type the username, then enter, then password, then enter. This is the autotype sequence. Here is the copying URL to the clipboard, copying the password to the clipboard, copying the username to the clipboard. So these are all options, very simple and very easy. And this is the password generator program, and then this is the options of the program. So very simple and very easy, and we can see it's more polished and more easy to use. Okay, so I prefer this program on Keepass, but the only option I cannot find here in Keepass XC, and it was in Keepass, the two channels obfuscation. Okay, I didn't find this option here. Anyway, so these are the setting, and then we have different sections. Here we can see something related to basic setting for the program: minimize windows at application startup. Remember previously used databases, or a lot of programs on database unlock show entries that will expire in 3 days. Anyway, so this is a lot of features we will not use. And then this is the Autotype features. We have the browser integration. This will integrate the program with different browsers, so there is a communication between the Keepass program and browsers to type or to auto-type the password automatically. Okay, so there is a browser integration, or you can use this section to allow the program to type passwords within the browser. We will see that later. We will integrate the browser or integrate the program with Firefox or with the Brave browser or Edge. We will see that later, so just wait for a moment, I will show you. We will use this using an extension. I do not prefer using extensions, by the way, because it is with third-party programs, or it is third-party created programs, and we don't know if it is safe or not, and the code or the programming code for these extensions is not open. Anyway, we will choose to backup database file before saving. So here is an option to backup the database before saving it, so I can save the changes to my database, and before saving it I can create a backup from it. This is very useful to have different backups from your database at different intervals or before critical changes. Okay, so this is a very good thing to do. Okay, so I encourage you to do this, and the backup destination should be to a shared folder, so it can be backed up by your administrator, or to a local drive, other than to be put in a local drive in a partition other than the partition that is used by the operating system. Anyway, so we will use it. We can choose to back up the database to a certain location. Anyway, we can unlock it. Anyway, so this is a lot of things. Actually, I didn't use them all, so this is a good thing, or you can discover it. Anyway, we will use certain features only, and you can discover later. Here we can see this Autotype, how the Autotype will be used. Okay, and remember last type entry for 15 seconds, Autotype start delay 500 milliseconds, Autotype delaying. Anyway, and this is a shortcut for the Autotype. I think this is Control-Alt-A. You can use a shortcut to open the Autotype. Here we can see that clear clipboard after 10 seconds. So if you copy thing or copy a password to the clipboard, it will be cleared from the clipboard after 10 seconds. The less this seconds are, or the less this time is, the more secure. Okay, so you can lock the database after inactivity of 250 milliseconds. Anyway, clear search query after 5 minutes. If you search a database, you will clear the search query after 5 minutes. So all of these are things to secure your database, and this is related to the database as a whole. I didn't play with these features. I leave it everything for the default. If you need to change it, you can. Okay, but anyway, I think the default setting is good. Okay, so let's continue, and then we can go to the browser integration. But first we need to make a browser integration between the program and the browser. We need to install an extension on the browser and to open the option on the program. You will see that use. Okay, here is an option. Use DuckDuckGo service to download website icons. So as we see, when we create entries related to different websites, these entries icons will be the same like the icon of the website. So we will see, for example, when I put my Google account, the Google icon will appear in the entry. I will show you all this. This is called download website icons. I will show you all. This is done very easily, and it is a very good option also. It just to make it more friendly. You can make the entry more friendly. Enable browser integration. He's saying that Keepass browser is needed for browser integration to work. So these are extensions to be downloaded and installed within Microsoft Edge, Brave, Google Chrome or Firefox. Okay, so enable integration for these browsers. You can choose the browser you need. Chromium, this is the based or the open source browser. Different things like Chrome, Valvida, Brave, Firefox and Tor browser, and Edge. We will use this one because we are using Edge. So we'll tell him integrate this option with and actually, as I said before, I do not prefer to integrate or to use extensions. Extensions are small programs added to the browser. These small programs, it's programming code. It is not open source. I don't know who wrote it. Some amateurs or some third-party persons made it, and we don't know if it is safe or not. Anyway, I prefer to use the program without any extensions added. Anyway, and also we have a group policy to disable extensions on the browsers. We have done this before. Anyway, so we will click on all of them, and then we will continue discovering different options within the program. But this is fair and enough. We don't need to change a lot of things, and we will see how the integration will be done. Okay, so now I think this is we have done, or we have changed a lot of options. We can click on any one of these links to get the extension. So we'll go and install the extension of Keepass on the Edge browser. So we clicked on the link. He will redirect us to a website to install the extension of Keepass on the Edge browser. Okay, so here it is. It is called Keepass browser. We need to install this extension. Okay, and then tell him add extension, and then we will see after that any website appears in the Edge browser, you will be prompted to put the password and username from the Keepass program. Okay, here we can see there is a section called Keepass Share. So what is Keepass Share here? You can import or export. Sorry, here you can this is related to export. So you can import passwords from other programs and put it here, or from CSV files and put it here. And then when you export, for example, a file that contains your passwords and you need to share it with another user in another place or send it by email, he will export it and he will encrypt it, and he will encrypt it using a certificate. So you need to export the passwords, and then you are given an encryption key, or you're giving a certification. The user that you are sending these passwords to should have this certification to open the password. So let's continue, or let's have a scenario. Now you have exported, okay, the password, okay, and then, or exported all of the passwords, and then you will secure them using a certification, okay, and then send the file to the user, to the other user. The other user should have this certification to open the password file and use it later. So this is a very good option to secure exporting your password. This was not in Keepass, by the way. I didn't find it anyway. So this is a very good option to use Keepass or KeyShare to share your passwords with other users, and to secure this share by exporting the file and encrypting it using a certification, and the other user should have a certification to decrypt it. Okay, so this is a good option. So you will not export your password in a plain text file, okay, it will be encrypted. Okay, so you can allow import and export, and this is your certification, personal certification. Okay, that will be used to export the passwords. Okay, actually I will not use it, but there is software, or there is videos to that describe this step. Here we can see a lot of things. So you can open database, save database, lock database, so no entries will be added to the database reports, database setting, database security. So here you can see database reports. Here he will tell you, let me discover, or let me show you what is database reports. We will discover this option one by one. So database reports here will give you some info about the database: passwords, its name, description, location, created, last saved, unsaved changes, number of groups to put your password, number of groups in your program, number of entries, number of expired password, unique password, non-unique password, maximum password reuse. So all of these are very useful information about our passwords created in the database. And then we will see a lot of things here. Browser statistics. We'll see here browser statistics. Here he will give us the passwords and the URL for the passwords. This is maybe something related to the passwords and the URLs, or the passwords and the websites that are put in it. Okay, so this is browser statistics. And then health check. Everything is healthy. And then this is another thing. This is something called perform online analysis. This report requires sending information to the Have being found online. So here is, he will tell you if your password is being hacked or not. So this is a website that contains all of the hacked passwords around the world. So this is something like to check if your password is hacked before or not. So this report requires sending information to a website that contains all of the hacked passwords being found online service. Okay, if you proceed, your database password will be cryptographically hashed, and the first 5 characters of those hash will be sent securely to this service. Your database remains secure and cannot be reconstituted from this information. However, the number of passwords you send and your IP address will be exposed to the service. So here is a service online to check your passwords if they are hacked from any other hacker, and these websites have its sources to see if other passwords are hacked or not. So this is a service to see if your passwords are hacked or not. So I do not prefer to use this service. I don't know if it is secure or not. It appears to be secure, but I will not use this service anyway. So you can use it if you are more comfortable with using this option to send your passwords to a website. Anyway, so we will go and see the other things. I think, let me go, this is all the statistics and other things. So let's go for a moment again. So now we will tell him to sync between the program and use this extension. So it will sync between, I think this is will sync between the program on your PC and the program on your other tablet or something. Here we need to enter the password. So we have closed the database. Now we are provided, or we are asked to provide the password and then to provide the key. So here we can see that it will not enable us to do this because we have only provided the password. We need to provide the key. Okay, so it is 2-factor authentication. We need to let him browse. Okay, so this is it. We need to tell him browse and provide the key. Okay, so we tell him browse and go to the key. Okay, and provide the key, and then tell him open and then unlock. So now our database is opened. We can create a lot of entries here, so you can create a lot of things here. Here you can see that the icon appears like to be like an email icon, but we can download Google icon here. Okay, automatically. I will show you all how we can do this. Here, database setting, we can play with database setting, maximum history size, and a lot of things actually we can play with it. And in database security, you can change the key encryption, you can change the password. So all of these are options to play with the database. Okay, we can have copy attribute, TOTP. This is an option to be used to something. Here open URL, download Facon. Here we can see that I will download the Gmail icon. Wait for a moment. Here we can see that when I tell him download Facon, he changed the icon from an email icon to appear like Gmail. This is a very good option to recognize the entry. So here you have changed the icon to Gmail, to appear like a Gmail. This is a very good option. Some websites allow you to download their icons, and some websites do not allow this. So this is an option that we can use. It's called download Facon or Facon. I don't know the entry here. Download Favicon. Okay, here we can make a new group. So for example, you can tell him email. This is a group. We will see that it will be created here, and we can copy it, or we can move it to email. So then we have it arranged. Okay, we can make a new group, for example, to make it work, passwords, for example, and we can create a lot of folders. This is very easy to use. Actually, it's more easy than Keepass. And then we can see other options. Password generator. So we have used this before, and we can see the setting. So there is nothing to discover more anyway. So we have downloaded the browser extension and the integration. So I think there are other options to check for updates. We don't have any updates, so this appears to be good. Here we can tell him weak passwords. There is no results. There is no weak password. Expired password, all passwords. This is something to quickly check if there is any expired passwords or weak passwords. So here we can export to a CSV file, HTML file. Okay, you are about to export to database unencrypted, so take care. Okay, we will encrypt, or we will export this passwords in a plain text or a plain HTML file. It's not encrypted. Let's see how this file will appear. So let's go further. Okay, and let's see the password of the file. So we can go to downloads. I think I will go and see the exported file. So this is Karim passwords. It's a very simple one. We will open it in Edge browser, okay, and see how this password will appear, or this passwords file will appear. It's unencrypted, so it is basically hackable. Here we can see very simple. Even the icon appears here. So this is very good, very simple, and very professional file. So now I think we have discovered most of the options in the program, but let's see if we have other things to do. So for example, this is the Edge. Let's try to see the integration that has been done between the program and the account. Okay, so we have to go to Gmail, for example, Gmail from Google. Okay, this is here we can see. Just wait for a moment, guys. The URL, it's not to access the URL to get you to the username and password field. It is not mail.google mail.gmail.com. You need to type accounts google.com. I will just change this one. So here we'll make a test how we can. Here we can see, just wait for a moment. Here we can see that this is the icon of the program. We just click on it, it will provide the email and the password. Okay, so this is how you can provide the email. This will open the program, or will communicate with the program and put your email. Sometimes it will not work because it needs to establish a connection first between the browser and the program. You will be asked to provide a connection and to encrypt this connection. Okay, so, but it didn't appear for me actually, but it will ask you to provide a secure connection between the program and the browser. Anyway, so what we will do, we will copy the password, or we tell him to autotype. So let's see this one. We need to have both appeared here, or to be opened. okay, like that, and tell him to auto type the username. Okay, this is the pattern, username and enter. Tell him yes. Okay, we need to go there and tell him yes. Okay, so he will type the password, okay, and then press enter. Then we need to type the username, and then you need to provide the password. Actually, when you click on here, it will communicate with the program and get the password, but the communication is not done because you need to first encrypt the connection and allow secure connection. This will be done. Actually, it should be asked. Okay, anyway, so I need to update the URL, so I will open the program and update mail.gmail.com. This is not the correct URL. You need to change this URL. Okay, so this is a good thing to do. Okay, open URL. So when I tell him to open mail.gmail.com, it will not go to the correct website. This is not reachable. So this is not correct. We need to update the URL. Actually, it is opened in Internet Explorer, so I need to tell him that my default browser is Edge. Anyway, so I will open, or I will just wait for a moment. I need to here update my default browser from default something called default programs here. So let's go to default programs. Here it goes, default programs. Just wait for a moment. Default programs, and then tell him that I need my Edge browser to be the default browser. So he will tell him we need to update this browser to be my default browser. Okay, this is Microsoft Edge. Okay, and then I need to update the URL. Okay, because the URL in this entry is not correct. This will not get me to the page contains the username field and the password field. So here I'm creating another entry. Maybe I don't know why I'm doing this. Anyway, so I need to change this thing. Okay, we'll click it, or I have closed database incorrectly. Okay, so I'll open it back. Okay, and then we will open the email entry and update this URL. Okay, this is not correct. Okay, so if I tell him to open the URL, it will not. Let's see here, it's not mail to Gmail. This is not reachable. Okay, so this is not correct. Okay, we need to update this URL. Okay, so we will go to Gmail, and then we will take the correct URL and update my field with it. This is accounts.gmail or accounts.google.com. We need to take this URL, okay, and apply the entry or update the entry. So let's go and do this. Okay, so we will go and tell him URL. We will update this URL and put the correct URL here. Okay, and then we'll tell him okay, apply, and okay, successfully updated. And then when we tell him to open URL, it will get us directly to the field or the field that contains the Gmail. Here we can see it, but this is saved in the browser. Okay, not within the password program. Okay, or password manager program. We need to tell him not to remember passwords. Okay, we will go now and tell him to disable this. This is disabled by default in our group policy in our domain. This is a PC out of the domain. Okay, we have a group policy to do this, so we not tell him to save and fill info or personal info. We need to disable using of passwords actually, or saving passwords and entries to the browser. Anyway, so we will tell him, I think, let's see any other thing. Autotype, here we can see, tell him username, tab, password, enter, but this is not in Google. Okay, in Google you need to put username, enter, and then wait for 100 seconds or milliseconds, and then password and enter. This is the autotype pattern or autotype sequence. Okay, so we have already discussed this before and you have seen this before. So I think, I don't know why I'm stepping here. Anyway, so let's see if we have anything to do here. We can copy the password, we can auto type, okay, the active window, so that's it, and then we can put the password. Okay, so but here I need to put my password, okay, because this is my password. The one in the entry, I need to update it, so I need to open it and then change the password. Let's see. First I need to take the password I have created in Keepass XC and update my current password in Google. Okay, so let's wait for a moment because he's sending a verification code to my phone, so I can open the account or open my Gmail account. Here I need to go and open the options in my Gmail and change my password with the one I have created in the program. So if I tell him to go to the options and then create or change my default or my currently used password, okay, because it's only an entry, it will not be updated automatically to my Gmail. Okay, so this is a good thing to see or to apply. So here I need, what I'll do here, guys, here I have a Google Drive option, so I will save my database, okay, my Keepass database to the cloud, so I can, my Keepass database and my Keepass key, I will save it to the cloud so I can use it later in other PCs, and actually it is a backup, so I am backing up my Keepass database and my Keepass key. Okay, and actually you can only back up the Keepass database and you can leave the key out of it, or you can leave it on a flash. Anyway, I will back them up, so I will create a folder in my Google Drive space and update or back up my database and Keepass key to it. Okay, and actually I'll only back up my database, not the encryption key or the database key. So tell him create, and then I will update it. So this is, it should be done manually. There is some extensions you can use to back up automatically the database, okay, but I prefer not to use extensions as I have said before. So now we apply, or we need to upload a folder or upload the database. So I'll go and upload my database file. So this is a backup, but it is on the cloud and it will not be opened unless the password is provided and the key. So I will only back up the database, not the key. Okay, okay, or you can back the key in another cloud and the database in another cloud to just make it not in one place. Okay, so this is a good thing to do. We are backing up our database, and the next time I will show you all how we can create different users in this program, and every user will have his unique database with his unique passwords. Okay, and we see if standard users can change entries in the program or not. So this is also one of the things we need to stress on it, and we will see after that I can use the database backed up on the cloud. Okay, I can open it with a portable program of Keepass. We will see this in the upcoming video. So we need to now shut down the program or the virtual machine. Hope this was informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.